All right, we are live with the one and only Zach from ZMF. What up, my brother?
Hey,
How are you, dude?
Marcello.
Good to see you. Always a
Source
pleasure.
AV, Jason
Always a
Lord,
pleasure.
World of Jason Lord, World of Marcello. Time.
So what do you got there? What is this beauty?
This is the Bokeh Open. It's the open version of the closed Bokeh, which came out a year ago. It's kind of our venture into the $1,000 and under landscape with an easier to drive 80 ohm liquid crystal polymer diaphragm. But yeah, just been really excited about it. It's the first headphone we're doing that'll have the, you can see the wood grill there on the outside. That's actually a Purple Heart grill. We're going to be doing 2 different color schemes, and the other one will have a red bloodwood grill. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of fun because we get to laser these at house instead of having the machine at the machine shop. So we're kind of at CanJam asking people what design they like the most. This is the one that most people seem to like. I'm gonna come right so close to the camera.
I don't know if it'll. Yeah, it might be on face only
Yeah, it's all
recognition.
good.
There you go. Well, watch. I could do this.
Yeah.
So
It's all good. But people seem to like this design, so this will probably be one of the designs for the Bokeh Open Grill. And yeah, it's coming out November 7th or 8th. I think the release price will be somewhere between $7.99.
Here, hold it right where you're at.
$8.99.
Right there. Watch. Come back to where we are, like our focus distance, and then watch. Here we go. Let's see if it'll work.
We gotta go in.
Yeah, it
right
did.
in the Bokeh. Everyone around, you know, things I've noticed at CanJam so far. A lot of pumpkin chai lattes. Pumpkin, it's that time of year. I was talking to Antonio Mezzi about it. He was saying that they don't really do the pumpkin thing.
Nah, it didn't work. Oh well.
In Romania, it's more of an American thing.
Really?
Pumpkin stuff. You know, I mean, you think about it, like we've Americanized all these holidays, and
I do love pumpkin.
I don't think other countries have these commercial, you know, Prime Day, pumpkin season. I don't know, what else do we do? Like the commercialization of Easter.
It's true.
Yeah.
We do commercialize pretty much everything in America.
Nitro cold brew.
I need some nitro cold brew right now. It's at the end of the day. I need like a lot of nitro cold brew. So you got perforated pads on this bad boy. It looks extremely open.
Pads, got atrium damping system on it. It's quite open. People have been kind of calling it a mini atrium today, so I thought that was a compliment, hopefully. So I feel pretty good about it.
I like the grill design.
Yeah, the tuning's
really
pretty
cool.
final, and I don't know, feeling good about it. And just playing around with grill designs at this point. So
from a tuning perspective, where does it sit in comparison to some of your other headphones?
It's pretty linear. I mean, the nice thing about the atrium damping system is that I can tune the low end pretty linear. It doesn't roll off until around 40 hertz, and then it only rolls off about 2 to 3 dB before 20 hertz.
Okay.
So even though it's pretty flat in that area, it has a subtle boost, and because of the atrium damping system that holds the airflow in, it has good punch to it. And then the treble area, it's, you know, typical extended but relaxed ZMF.
Yeah, house sound.
The reason I chose the LCP driver was because the LCP driver has kind of a little bit of a zest to it that makes a relaxed tuning sound a little more crispy, crunchy, and nice, even though it's, you know, a little tiny bit below the Harman curve and all that. So I think it's just, yeah, I think you can run it on tubes with the 80 ohms. You can run it on the solid states, the hybrids, the amps with the 1 tube, but they're sort of like, you know, the shit amps.
Right.
So yeah.
Do you find that, like, in designing headphones, you have people pushing more and more for the Harman curve, or does it matter with your headphones?
You know, if I've learned anything from the last 5, 6, 7, however long people have been super harmonizing things, it's that, like, people's opinion on it and how they follow it runs the whole gamut of like, I like the Harman curve, I don't like it, I don't even pay attention to it. So like
anything in audio.
At the end of the day, when you're designing headphones, you kind of have to take the materials that you're working with and tune to them. And I've always been a big proponent that, like, if you tune to the Harman curve with any materials, any membrane, any like system, open, closed, semi-open, that like you may not end up in the best place for those parts that you're using. And so I think it's always really important to look at the Harman curve, like measure to it, but then know how you can change from it based on like what stuff you have. And like, you know, with the LCP diaphragm in this, if I tuned it all the way to the Harman curve and the upper mids and treble, it would be too zesty because of that membrane type.
Which is a real sensitive area for many listeners too. So, like me especially, too much upper mid range makes something rough to listen to. So
yeah, and I mean, some people listen for 20 minutes at a time at a super high volume. Some people listen for 4 hours at a low volume.
Right.
So you know, that I think that gets overlooked a lot is that people's listening habits are almost as varied as their tastes in headphones and everything. So, you know, I've got customers who listen for 10 hours a day and customers who are like, I use your headphones once a week and it's great, you know. So,
yeah, they're just, weekend warriors or whatever,
Weekend headphone warrior.
That's right.
Men's league. Get your soccer ball out, weekend headphone warrior. Yeah.
I love it. I love it with streaming with you, dude. You're always the highlight of my CanJam every year. So I was walked by your room, because you have a room, not just a booth. This man has a freaking room.
It's like a double wide trailer.
It's awesome. The setup is impressive. I saw some of your new amps, and holy moly, the finishing on these amps is gangster. Just it almost looks like, I know it's wood, but it almost looks like marbleized, like stabilized, similar to the headphones, but it looks like almost like marble from a distance. It's so pretty.
Yeah, the transformers are painted. So it's the Aegis amp that is designed by Keenan McKnight, aka Lord Gwyn, who's actually here at the show.
Is that his handle, Lord Gwyn?
That's his handle, Lord Gwyn, which is from I can't remember video game because I'm not as much of a gamer as Dark Souls, I think.
Okay.
It's from Dark
Souls, yeah, okay, I remember
and if I'm wrong, Keenan, I'm sorry. we can game you, we can do the gaming thing, you'll teach me. But, and so he designed the circuit, we did the aesthetics, and then we had Kyan produce the amp.
Okay.
And it's a triode cathode follower tube amp, single-ended triode, and it it's a really unique design. So the thing I love about it sounds different and it's really powerful. So it'll drive like anything to the Mod House Tungsten, to the HE6, the Hard Sasvara, all that stuff. But yeah, there's not a lot of really unique tube amps. A lot of them use the same circuit design. So his whole thing is to like do circuits that are abnormal so they can sound different. And it really does.
How much power did you say it outputted? Approximately?
I think the max power it outputs is around 3 watts on one of the
Which is plenty
outputs.
for the majority.
I'd have to look on our website, but the kind of trick about those amps is that most amps have more current at low impedance, whereas because of the way this is designed, it has a very high current at higher impedances. So you can really drive headphones that need voltage and current at the same time. With a higher impedance. So stuff like the tungsten, it's like, I think the tungsten's like 150 ohms or something. You can it needs tons of juice.
Right.
It can get it there, all the way there. It can drive itself home from a men's league after the injury.
So we are on a live stream, so you guys feel free to ask any questions for Zach if you have anything, and we're going to continue to keep chatting. But please drop your comment or questions. Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you have to say.
Lonely.
So what has been the most popular thing in your room today? Would you say like people are like lining up for, or there's the most people waiting for? I mean, you got so many headphones in there, so there's not a lot of waiting happening. People are pretty cool about it. But what do you think people are most drawn to today?
Bokeh opens definitely because people want to look at it, and I'm kind of hawking people about, hey, what grill design do you think looks best?
Yeah.
We have the Ray Samuels amp in there. That is like, he's only made like a few of them so far. It's the B21 Raider, and it's an electrostatic and dynamic amp at the same time.
That's cool.
So that's been pretty popular because it's, kind of not a lot of people had a chance to hear it, but a lot of people heard about it. Ray Samuels, the legend, I don't know if he really, more or less the inventor of the portable headphone amp. I don't know if he really did,
but he's one of the innovators. Yeah, one of the innovators.
And then a lot of people. It's always surprising to me how many people haven't heard our stuff before now. We've got a lot of people are listening to our planars for the first time, and we're looking to expand our planar lineup in the next couple of years.
Caldera was your first big one, right?
Yeah, so we had the Caldera open and closed.
Closed, yep.
And then, we're working on a Bokeh line planar that'll be out at some point. That'll be less expensive. And then, it's just kind of working on expanding the planar lineup at this point. There's a lot of what I'm excited about.
I like that, because when I heard the Caldera, that was my favorite headphone I heard when it was that last year or 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago, right?
It came out 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And then Caldera came out this last year.
Yeah. And I was just super impressed, and I was like, oh man, it's like ZMF love, but with a planar. And I was, because I like planars quite a bit. I like dynamic headphones too, but it's very, very, very good sound.
Yeah, it was fun doing a planar again after the T50 stuff.
Right.
Not doing planars for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Well, it probably creates a whole other host of issues doing a planar versus a dynamic headphone, right?
Yeah, the closed Caldera especially was really challenging to work on, and it took almost 2 years to really tune that thing, because it just was, there's so much energy coming from the driver, there's such a strong impulse, and then it's a large flat plane, and so not as nodal as like a dynamic driver. So we have a really gentle low pass filter in there that really brings off a little bit of the edge off the high frequencies of the closed version. And then just the porting of the closed, just figuring out what was going to work, because every little millimeter made a big difference. I worked a lot with Dave Friesema, formerly of West Tone, now works with us and Dark Matter Audio Labs, which is a new IEM company that coming out that I'm a partial owner of, along with Sam and Tal from DeConey, and then Dave's partial.
Congratulations, that's cool.
So it's a new thing coming up and coming. That's pretty exciting. At some way, I don't know when, but we may OEM a ZMF IEM at some point with some wood shells or something. But that's just a thought in the far distance.
Sure.
I don't know if you can replicate like an atrium-like sound with an IEM or not, but
yeah, there's all kinds of other issues when you're making an IEM too, because different ear canals.
You're right in the ear.
I'm not a big IE in-ear person, to be honest. Like, it's not my favorite. I know Tyler and I feel the same way. We were talking. Tyler streamed with me first today. We were talking about you and how much we love you guys, but we were also talking about like how we both are like, meh, IEMs, people want to send them, and we're like, do I have to do this review?
It's like place to kind of judge nowadays. There's so many brands. There's so much new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always like, if I come out with one headphone a year, like that's really good.
That's impressive.
Where like IEMs, you're like, this brand came out with 17 IEMs in 1 year.
It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up. The space is constant. Yeah. So we had a question from Matthew. He asked when this one do you think will be officially released?
Oh yeah, we're looking at, I believe, the week after CanJam Dallas. I think it's like November 7th, 8th, or 9th, that Friday.
Okay, cool. So not far off.
And we're working on making sure we have a decent number of them produced so they can ship quickly. Because we definitely want to make sure that we can
fulfill
absolutely as they're done.
It's very smart.
Yeah, the wood is it's called Spectraply, and I think I've seen it in like gift stores a lot. They use it to make like kind of semi-fancy like pasta spoons and stuff like that.
my family's spoons.
Yeah, because it's a good wood to use for that. Sure. It's a plywood.
Yep.
But you can get it in a bunch of different colors. This is the charcoal look.
I like it.
But you can get it in like almost any color you can think of. And we're going to do one like this and one in kind of a ruby color with the two different grills. But down the line, it'll give us the opportunity to kind of change the look every once in a while for the stock versions. And it gives us even a real wood, even though it's a plywood, that will not have any shrinkage or humidity issues, so we can really ship this anywhere in the world and have people not worry about it, because I think that's important for a lesser price.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about before the stream the importance of manufacturers focusing in this price range, because not everybody can afford $3,000, $2,000, $5,000, but you still want to give everybody the joy and the love of listening to music and enjoying it. So yeah, I love the fact that you guys are focusing in that region, and I wish, there is other manufacturers too, but I wish more would say, hey, let's not forget about that price range, for other listeners out there. So that's cool. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, man, I was in there with Tyler earlier because I don't get much free time until the end of tomorrow. But there was a set of headphones, man. He's like, Marcello, you have to see these. And they had like gold flecks in them. And I was just like, oh my God. They look 3D inside because of the way you laid out the wood with the gold flecks. And were those, what were those, atriums or what? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think there was a pair of Bokehs and a pair of atriums.
Oh my God, they were gorgeous.
The atriums may have sold, but
yeah, I'm not surprised those sold.
Bevan had an idea to do the clear resin with the gold flakes in them, and you know, you have a lot of ideas, and some of them work and some of them don't. But you know, she had that idea. We tried it, and we were like, "Whoa, we made one."
It works. Yeah,
and
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like it's so clear. Yet putting just that dash of color in the resin almost makes it feel like, you know, ocean-like in a way. Yeah. And then the real gold and silver and copper flakes just kind of shimmer really nicely. It really came together, and I think we've been mostly doing them with Buckeye Burl, which is this really kind of creamy wood with like a grayish hues and bluish hues to it, and I don't know, it just all came together.
It is gorgeous. Yeah. It's one of the most beautiful headphones I've ever seen. And I was just like, oh my God.
We're going to do a lot more of those because we're really excited about them. And yeah, we're experimenting with some more with acrylic, different colored acrylic pieces, like glass-like looking pieces.
Does working with those type of materials change up how you have to like tune or anything the sound, or is it pretty well similarly the same? There's just little tweaks you got to make, or?
Yeah, the resin is harder than most woods. I mean, it's almost like having an African blackwood or one of the harder woods. So it makes things denser and it has a
quicker sound.
But as far as like, it doesn't make us change the tuning of the headphones or anything. It just imparts a little bit of a faster, quicker sound with a quick transient.
So similar to choosing different woods, like, you know, like if you're like, oh, I really want this wood from ZMF, because I want maybe quicker transients, faster sound, then same thing they could do is they could choose one of the resin-based ones.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, you know, that's the beauty of having all the choices.
Yeah.
You know, if I could make a redwood burl, which is maybe the lightest wood we use, resin-looking headphone, I would, but, you know, all the resin ones have that dense feel to them. But we have those other wood options like redwood burl for, you know, if you want that more ethereal decay thing going on.
That's cool. So,
another question.
Perp Dolo, did the Bokeh replace the Atticus?
So I know the Aegis isn't on the website, and I want it to be known there's no replacing the Aegis. You can't replace that bass. That mid bass cannot be replaced. So the Aegis is like, it's not discontinued. It's just we have so many headphones at this point that we're kind of gonna just pick and choose which ones are in the stock, you know, format. So we're kind of going back and forth between the Aegis and Icon right now. Next year we'll have a custom shop where any model, current or past, will be available. It'll just be that you'll have to order through the custom shop for stuff that's not on the current stock lineup.
That's rad.
But you know, we have a few process things. We just moved to a new workshop. We're putting in a new back-end system, all this stuff. Business.
How do you like the new setup?
It's great. I mean, the space is great. It's just moving stinks.
I just moved my studio locally, and God, I hate moving. And that was after being in it for 12 years, so I can relate. Moving sucks.
Did you find anything when you were moving that you were like, man, I wish I knew I had this?
I just found stuff I got to get rid of. Like stuff that when I started my video and photo production career, I was like, why do I still have this? This should have been like donated to like an up and coming student or put on eBay and sold, like just stuff.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago probably, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to redo all my whole photo area and all that stuff, and I don't know, I just keep putting it off. I feel like such a lazy boy.
Well, you've got a lot on your hands, so this priority is probably manufacturing the headphones and getting them out to all the people.
Yeah, but
so
if you don't do the YouTube channel, do people even know that you're still alive?
I mean, in this day and age, I do feel there is some truth to that. Like what social media and like YouTube, it's pretty critical.
Company like us, I think people want to see
it's
that
critical.
We're active, and like, you know, if they look on the YouTube channel, like, oh, they haven't posted in 3 months.
They're like, what happened?
Like, well,
are they okay?
I don't trust them. Yeah, so I think I do. I mean,
it is important.
I'm the same way. I mean, I get it. So yeah, more content coming soon. from the new shop and CanJam.
What is your YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is ZMF Headphones Direct.
Okay, cool. So anybody out there,
YouTube.
ZMF Headphones Direct, if you don't currently follow them, go subscribe to their channel.
Yeah, do not look at the ZMF Headphones Indirect. That is copy channel, and I will not promote it.
It's a knockoff? Somebody's
No,
trying. Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I should probably make that channel now too.
Well, and maybe just your outtakes of funny stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh shit, oh this happened.
Nothing to do with headphones.
That's funny. If you have any other questions, jump in here, anybody. So when you travel for these shows, you guys have so many different things. How hard is it? You ship all that basically in the plane, and you have to fly and just do all that. What is that like?
Tough. I mean, it went from me schlepping everything to like head fi meets.
Yeah.
And I remember back in the day, it was taking a suitcase or two.
Right.
By myself, and then over time, as people started working with me, it was more and more. And at one point, it was shipping up through the mail, taking it on the planes, and now we ship a pallet or two.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Freight. And,
that's the way.
That's the problem with our freight. It's my love of tube amps and headphones that work well with tube amps and expensive big amps and stuff. It's just, yeah. I mean, we got the Ray Samuels, we've got a DCS Lena, we've got the new Cayenne Soul 178. These are all like, every one of these weighs like 50 to 100 pounds.
Right.
So
you have to ship freight at that point.
Yeah.
What do you find you're listening to most when you're not working and you're not like building? You're like just at home, you just chilling out. What headphones are you grabbing, and what's on your playlist a lot recently?
Usually the headphone I use is the most recent one that we're working on.
Right.
Just because I get excited about the next project and
all
that stuff, and want to make the new thing as good as it can be. So I've definitely been listening to Bokeh Open a lot lately, and secondary the Caldera Closed because they're the most newest things. And then as far as music, I'm going to see Kaleo this week.
Cool.
So I like them a lot. The Icelandic blues band.
That's cool.
I just saw that Larkin Poe is going to be opening for them, so that was exciting to see more blues, female blues.
That's cool.
I really like old time music. I like electronic music a lot. I like Grizz or Flume. Austin from JDS in a Room had me listen to some Flume. I was just introduced to something called I can't remember, the ETA guys were telling us like Pumpkin Patch Killer Daddy or something. I don't know. I'll have to.
We'll have to find out. He streamed with us earlier today.
So he introduced me to some really cool electronic stuff. So yeah, electronic, like chill step, old time music stuff like Luke Mercier, who just built a banjo for me a few months ago. I love.
You play the banjo?
His music. I play banjo and guitar.
You like the Jerry Garcia of headphone makers then?
Yeah.
he's a
luthier, right?
He was a big time banjo player. Banjo and guitar. I mean, when he was alive, obviously. And then I remember that. Well, yeah, your lady is a big Grateful Dead. She's connected. Yeah.
Bevan went to see the Grateful Dead at the Sphere in Vegas earlier this year.
How was that?
I didn't go. She went with her brother. I could have gone, but I play the men's league baseball, and I was like, you go. I'm not, because I'm not a big Grateful Dead guy.
Right.
But she had a great time. She loved the Sphere, the whole screens out of the Sphere and everything.
The Sphere
seemed
looks
like a real
cool.
Immersive experience.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
I think the Eagles are playing at the Sphere right now.
Are they?
I think it's the Eagles periodically playing. I know Fish was there earlier. Not a big Fish guy myself.
Nah, me either.
But yeah, man. Dorian mode, man. Trey Anastasio, greatest.
I love it. That's cool. I love it. All right. Well, we don't have any other questions.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to leave our viewers with? Because sometimes this will sit in the HeadFi group, and then people will watch it later because they're Saturday. They might be with family or something.
Yeah, I just think the headphone space, I've been in it for a while now, and I think it's just evolved into something that's really nice, and I really appreciate how, especially a lot of the vendors now have like made it through the pandemic, and everybody's kind of really enjoying all the gear that's coming out. And I just think there's a really nice wide breadth of things, and I would just push anyone to ask to like bring that friendly, appreciative thought of headphones, further that it's, it's not about what's best, it's about having all those different experiences, and that's what we try to do at ZMF.
Yeah.
And I love it when I see come to CanJam and see all the new stuff, like the new Mezzi stuff and what Taconi's doing, and a lot of great brands.
Do you think we'll ever see like a stabilized wood ZMF speaker? Because
I
mean, I tell you, that would be sexy as all freaking hell.
All right, now that we have a new workshop, more space.
Can you vision it, right?
There wasn't any space for it, but I could see it.
I could see
speaker?
it. Yeah, just to start. Maybe near field to start, and then never know where that goes.
Little desktop speaker, little subwoofer.
Tight.
Maybe we'll make one for Zeos, put some anime girls on.
Oh, no. No comment. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, I think with that, we'll call it here in a second. I don't see any other questions in the group, but Zach, dude, always a pleasure, my brother. You and your lady are just, I would tell you this much. I've had multiple people streaming with me today, and you guys have come up multiple times on how good peeps you are. So and it's true. It's a true story.
Try my best to
take care of
you take care
of your community.
Make sure that it stays about the music and the headphones. And I think it's really easy to get caught up in business stuff and trying to position yourself in the industry. And I think if anything's true, it's that if you focus on the part of it that's fun, the music, the headphones, the gear, that it's easier for everyone.
The rest will follow. Yeah. Well, with that, I think that's a perfect way to wrap day one at CanJam SoCal 2024. Don't forget, we'll be here all day tomorrow streaming, and we'll keep dropping them in the impressions thread on HeadFi. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And with that, we are a wrap for the day. So see you all tomorrow, and enjoy. Share these videos with anybody you think might be interested. Cheers, and have a great evening.